and welcome. You're watching NDTV's continuous coverage of the Maharashtra political crisis. I'm Shanakshi Chakravarti and we have the latest coming in from the city of Mumbai. Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has vacated, going by those visuals of those packed black suitcases, leaving Varsha, the Chief Minister's residence, and finally arriving at Matoshri, his private residence, his private family home, which also has a very strong sentimental connect with the founder and his father, Mr. Balasaheb Thackeray. And we can see visuals of Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray there at Matoshri. He is COVID positive and hence he's taking that precautionary measure with a mask on. He is waving at his supporters and he is, of course, surrounded by a sea of those Shiv Sainiks and supporters, but most importantly, a massive security deployment, massive security around him as well, quite understandably, and an overwhelming support for the Chief Minister as he not just leaves Varsha but also arrives at Matoshri, because for the last couple of hours we have been seeing visuals of heavy crowds as Chief Minister had started to pack his bags and leave Varsha, and now that we see he has arrived at Matoshri, we can see that overwhelming support for the Chief Minister. Remember, this is coming at a backdrop of that huge political crisis that has hit the state of Maharashtra, and all that action unfolding not just in the state of Maharashtra but also extending to Surat in Gujarat, as we saw those visuals all through of Tuesday, I beg your pardon, and we also saw that further extend to Guwahati in Assam, in the northeast part of the country. But significant that all of that was taking place beyond Maharashtra in two BJP-ruled states, in Gujarat and in Assam. And now we can see visuals of Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray arriving at Matoshri. So all in a span of just one day, if I can put it like that, in just 24 hours we saw. Alright, we also see visuals of Aditya Thackeray over there waving at his supporters, waving at the Shiv Sainik supporters from his car. I believe he still hasn't come out of his car, but he is trying to, I think, make his way out of the car, and we did get a glimpse of Aditya Thackeray. There you go. You see Aditya Thackeray as he greets the crowds with that folded hands and also victory signs, and you can see that victory sign. He indicated that at least 2 to 3 times he is folding his hands and greeting the crowd from his car. He still hasn't come out of the car. So in fact, we will play out those shots for you of the Chief Minister there waving at the crowds, and shortly after that we see Aditya Thackeray, his son, also waving at the crowd, perhaps even more significant with that victory sign that Aditya Thackeray is greeting at the crowds, and the crowds are cheering for him, and he continues to show that victory sign and with folded hands, perhaps a sign of gratitude to his supporters and to those Shiv Sainiks over there. So the father and the son over there giving out a very strong message. Remember, it was a short while ago when Sanjay Raut came on camera to give a sound bite to reporters, and he said that the Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray will continue to be the Chief Minister, and if a no confidence vote is tabled, then we will prove majority. This is what Sanjay Raut had to say. This is coming in the backdrop of when Uddhav Thackeray, the Chief Minister, earlier today when he was delivering a Facebook live address, his first public reaction, very important to remind our viewers, the Chief Minister broke his silence by coming on a Facebook live, and he said very strong statements, made some very strong statements to say that if my own people don't want me as a Chief Minister, he should walk up to me. He was referring to either one MLA. If they want to, they can walk up to me, and I am ready to resign. I am Bala Saheb's son. I am not after the post of a chief minister or any post for that matter. If you want me to resign, let me resign and take all my belongings to Matushri. Very, very strong statements that was made by Uddhav Thackeray earlier today, as he actually went on to say that if somebody of my own wants me to resign, I am willing to do so, and I will take all my belongings to Matushri. And that is exactly what we are seeing visually. He has in fact packed all his belongings from Varsha, the chief minister's residence, sending out not just a very symbolic message visually but politically, perhaps sticking to his words. He is abiding by his own words that he made earlier in the evening, and he went on to say that if there is a situation that allows me to resign or wants me to resign, I will do so, and I will pack up and take my belongings to Matushri. And that is exactly what we are seeing unfold before our eyes over here, live visuals on our television screens from the city of Mumbai of Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray and his son Aditya Thackeray. Over there showing that victory sign. Even Sanjay Raut earlier today in fact tweeted to say, Sanjay Raut earlier tweeted to say that we will fight, and he believes that truth will prevail. He said Satya ki jeet hogi. He said something on those lines, in fact, perhaps giving out a message that they are very confident of what they're doing. Let us in fact take a look at what our colleague Saurabh Gupta had for us earlier when Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray left the Chief Minister's residence, goes by the name Varsha. Let's take a look at that report Saurabh sent for us.
All of BGK Road, all of supporters, this is Uddhav Thackeray's car as he drives out of Matushri. Uddhav Thackeray driving out of his official residence, Varsha. You can see, of course, this is his car, and all along the road, Sena supporters shouting slogans in his support. Now, the speech that he made a short while ago at Varsha, many said almost sounded like a speech where he read the writing on the wall. But Uddhav Thackeray, of course, not leaving without any support. You can see here Sena flags in the air all along BGK Marg. There, of course, in this car, his both sons, Tejas there and Aditya. Of course, both of them also leaving. So in this car, of course, I have with me Aditya Thackeray and Tejas Thackeray, his sons, also Rashmi Thackeray, his wife, also in this car, leaving with a lot of support. I don't think Malabar Hill in South Mumbai has seen a chief minister leave like this. At least I don't remember a chief minister leaving this place, the official residence, in such crowds. Of course, supporters all along the path. If I can ask my camera person to show you the visuals, and this is of course Rashmi Thackeray in this car, and also Tejas Thackeray, who's also here, Aditya Thackeray on the left side. In front, of course, Uddhav Thackeray's car with lots of flowers. You can see a shower petal, and this, of course, supporters here shouting slogans in support of Uddhav Thackeray and in the entire Thackeray family. Today, of course, Eknath Shinde has claimed that he is the Shiv Sena, but perhaps these pictures will tell you who's there. Aditya Thackeray, Tejas Thackeray and Rashmi Thackeray here, all of them, leaving in this car, and of course Uddhav Thackeray driving in that car ahead, but all of the supporters here, shouting slogans. The Chief Minister definitely not leaving without support. There is a lot of support for him even now as he leaves the official residence.
All right, let's go straight across to NDTV's Akshay Dongre, who is in fact tracking the Guwahati part of this political crisis unfolding in the northeast part of the country in Assam all the way. Akshay, you have gone to Guwahati to track all that political movement and those rebel MLAs over there camping inside a hotel there in Guwahati. What is the latest? Because as of now, we have seen from jets flying to Guwahati to Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray vacating his Chief Minister's residence in Mumbai. So tell us all the action around you in Guwahati.
Well, right now we are outside Radisson Blue Hotel, that is at the outskirts of Guwahati. Now, this hotel has been seeing political movement since the morning. Earlier, initially, Hemant Biswa Sarma, the Chief Minister of Assam, was here. He, in fact, supervised the entire situation. Then he came out. He went out of the hotel, and about an hour later, about 34 MLAs reached here, out of which 30 MLAs were from Shiv Sena, 4 were independent MLAs, and then later at around 7 p.m. 4 more MLAs joined, which makes it 33 Shiv Sena MLAs who are now inside the hotel, and about 5 MLAs that are 5 independent MLAs from Maharashtra, which has taken the total number of MLAs that are here in this particular hotel to 38. When some journalists spoke with the Chief Minister of Assam about the entire political crisis of Maharashtra and the MLAs who are staying here, he denied of having any information about the MLAs. He said that if anybody wants to come to Assam, they are welcome, and that in fact promotes the tourism of the state. However, he stopped short of stating another fact, and that was that 4 leaders from the Bharatiya Janata Party from Assam are also staying in this hotel. 2 are ministers of the government, 1 is a member of parliament, 1 is an MLA. So 4 BJP leaders who are considered extremely close to Hemant Biswa Sarma, they are in fact supervising the entire situation. The security, as you can see, there are police officials that are guarding this particular hotel. Nobody is allowed inside the hotel without proper checking. Nobody is allowed inside a hotel without a proper reason or proper ID card. Even journalists are not allowed inside the hotel. So in a way, proper political patronage is being provided by the Assam government to all of these MLAs. Without the Chief Minister stating the obvious thing that is happening here in Assam. The BJP government in Gujarat earlier provided patronage to Eknath Shinde and the rebel MLAs of Shiv Sena, and now it is the Assam government that is providing same kind of political patronage to all of these MLAs. The number games is very important as far as Shiv Sena's future is concerned, as far as Uddhav Thackeray's future is concerned, and if 4 more MLAs join these MLAs, these rebel MLAs, then the government of Uddhav Thackeray, in fact, his hold on the party will be in risk. There will be a risk to the party as well as the government of Maharashtra, because then there will be 2/3 majority with Eknath Shinde, and then he can escape the anti-defection law. In fact, he can claim the party to his own. The MLAs that are inside, there was an allegation by Shiv Sena that they are being held without their wish, without their will. But what we saw when 4 more MLAs joined these rebel MLAs, they came on their own. They were in a car. They came and then they met the other MLAs that are in fact holed up inside. So remains to be seen that what exactly is going to be the next step of Eknath Shinde. But seems the numbers are right now in favor of Eknath Shinde.
All right, Akshay. So the numbers as of now looks in favor of the Sena rebel Eknath Shinde, but politics of Maharashtra clearly crossing far and wide in the country. We will come back to you for all the latest. Thanks very much for joining us. But you know, a lot of political reactions have emerged on this, but it's important to listen in to what Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray said in his Facebook Live when he broke that silence, the much awaited silence of his. He broke that and he spoke and made some very strong statements. Let's listen in.
तर शिवसेना आणि हिंदुत्व हे 2 घट्ट एकमेकांमध्ये गुंफलेले जोडलेले हे शब्द आहेत. शिवसेना कदापि हिंदुत्वापासून आणि हिंदुत्व कदापि शिवसेनेपासून दूर होऊ शकत नाही. कारण शिवसेना प्रमुखांनी जो एक कानमंत्र दिलेला आहे की हिंदुत्व हा आमचा श्वास आहे. सांगायचं की उद्धवजी, तुम्ही कारभार करायला नालायक आहात. हे कोविडच्या काळातले टॉप 5 वगैरे सोडून द्या. आम्हाला तुम्ही मुख्यमंत्रीपदी नको. ठीक आहे, चला मी उठतो. आणि आज सुद्धा मी तुम्हाला सांगतो, जर त्याच्यापैकी एकाही आमदाराने समोर येऊन मला सांगितलं किंवा जर त्यांनी स्टेटमेंट दिलं की उद्धव ठाकरे मुख्यमंत्री पदावरती नकोत, तर मी आता मुख्यमंत्री पदाचा राजीनामा द्यायला तयार आहे. आणि ह्याच्यावरती विश्वास नसेल तर आज आपली फेसबुक लाईव्ह झाल्यानंतर आज संध्याकाळपासून मी माझा मुक्काम वर्षावरनं मातोश्रीला हलवत आहे. मला कोणताही मोह नाही. मी ओढून ताणून खुर्चीला चिकटून बसणारा नाही. मी शिवसेना प्रमुखांचा पुत्र आहे. कोणताही मोह मला खेचू शकत नाही. आणि शिवसैनिक सुद्धा या भानगडीत पडणारा नाहीये, कारण तो फेस टू फेस संकटाला सामोरं जाणारा शिवसैनिक आहे. म्हणून त्यांनी सांगावं मी दोन्ही पद सोडायला तयार आहे, पण मी मुख्यमंत्रीपद सोडल्यानंतर जर शिवसेनेचा मुख्यमंत्री होत असेल मला आनंदाने मान्य आहे. आनंदाने मान्य आहे. पण त्याही पलीकडे जाऊन केवळ मी मुख्यमंत्री नको, दुसरा कोणी असला तरी चालेल, पण शिवसेनेचा म्हणजे उद्धव ठाकरे मुख्यमंत्री नको, दुसरा कोणी चालेल, चला तेही मला मान्य आहे, पण एकदा मला समोर येऊन सांगा.
All right, and the Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut in fact gave a soundbite earlier. He said, and you will hear that out in that soundbite, he has said that Eknath Shinde will not be made the chief minister. You are running wrong news. That's what he told a group of reporters. Let's listen in.
ऐसी कोई बात नहीं हो गई है. मैं आपको बताता हूँ, ये आप गलत न्यूज चला रहे हो. पण मुख्यमंत्री उद्धव ठाकरे जी है और रहेंगे. फ्लोर ऑफ द हाउस पर अगर मौका मिला तो हम बहुमत सिद्ध करके दिखाएंगे.
In fact, Congress MP and senior lawyer Abhishek Manu Singhvi as well gave an opinion and expressed his thoughts on the legal sidelines of this, the legal aspect of what's unfolding in Mumbai. Let's listen in.
I can only sketch out the legal options. I cannot say what will happen. Legal option one would be for the chief minister. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm not saying it should happen. I'm giving you the options. Legally only. Now I'm speaking legally, not politically. Is for the chief minister to recommend dissolution. The governor is normally bound by the chief minister's recommendation, but there is a caveat. There is one line of thinking that if the chief minister can be shown to be in a minority, then the governor is not so bound. So that's the fair legal answer. Option number two is that if there is a parade of MLAs and the governor is demonstrated to have seen that the majority is with group X or with group Y, then suppose it is the group which is not the ruling group, then he can say within X days from now, please have a confidence motion or a no confidence motion decided on the floor of the House. Thirdly, if the ruling group manages to muster up a clear majority, it can in fact do the reverse. It can similarly call a confidence motion on its own in the House and settle the matter once and for all.
We are seeing visuals of Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray arriving at Matoshri, but this is coming in the backdrop of other very significant late night moves made by him. It all started with the Chief Minister breaking his silence earlier today in the evening when he addressed the people via a Facebook Live, and in that he made some very strong statements. He went on to say that he is ready to resign. He is Bala Sahib's son after all. He is not running after a post. And if anybody of his own wants him to resign, he is ready to do that. And I quote him, he says, I will take all my belongings to Matoshri. And that is exactly what we are seeing unfold right now on our television screens. It all started with the Chief Minister breaking his silence in that Facebook Live. Remember, the Chief Minister is also COVID positive. He has tested COVID positive, and we are seeing those visuals of him taking that precautionary measure and wearing a mask, even as he is surrounded by a sea of people. Now, let's take a look at that timeline really. After that Facebook Live, these were the shots that emerged out of Varsha, and we could see Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray waving and greeting at his supporters at the Shiv Senics. And he is seeing over there, he's waving and with folded hands, perhaps as a sign of gratitude for that overwhelming support of those supporters. In fact, they are also heard cheering for him, and they are heard saying something on the lines of Uddhav Thackeray, tum aage badho, hum tumhare saath hai. In fact, let's listen in for a quick second. Alright, so those visuals out of Varsha that emerged right after this. just about maybe an hour and a half later, we saw visuals of big black suitcases being taken out of Varsha, which is the Chief Minister's bungalow, the Chief Minister's residence. It is the CM house that goes by the name Varsha. And you can see even over there with tight security over there, we saw those very symbolic and very strong visuals coming out of big black suitcases, not one, not two, but perhaps 3 to 4 at least in this clip that we can make out. We saw those bags being packed and taken out of the CM house in Varsha bungalow in Mumbai. Those were the visuals. Then after that, followed after that was Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray finally leaving the CM house of Varsha. He came out of Varsha, and we can of course see him. I think recently he had surgery, a very critical surgery concerning to his spine issues. So we can see him over there with a cervical collar. We saw those visuals very up close over there, him in the car, and not just him, his wife and sons as well. We can see Aditya Thackeray as well over there in the car. And even while leaving, we saw those victory signs that they gestured to the cameras, to that massive, you can see a massive set of media personnel chasing and following his car and following his movement. And after that, just a short while ago, we then finally saw the Chief Minister arriving at Matoshri, which is founder and his father Balasaheb Thackeray's private residence that goes by the name Matoshri. He arrived at Matoshri and continues to be greeted by an overwhelming support of those Shiv Sainiks and supporters. He is then finally seen coming out of the car and waving at the supporters and greeting them. And after Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray came out of the car, we then saw visuals of his son Aditya Thackeray making those victory signs, gesturing at the crowd and gesturing at that overwhelming support that he has received at the crowd present over there. You can see him making those victory signs not once, not twice, but at least 3 times. We can see Aditya Thackeray gesturing towards at the crowd with those victory signs. We can also, of course, then see, you can see those heavy crowds at Matoshri. You can see the Chief Minister on your left side, on the left-hand side of the television screen, the Chief Minister at Matoshri, and on the right-hand side at the very same location, we see Aditya Thackeray, his son, with that massive victory sign and folded hands, perhaps a sign of gratitude for that overwhelming support that they both have received at Matoshri. And Maximum City Mumbai is seeing maximum political twists and turns. NDTV will continue to bring you all the latest.